Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rukal Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth. And a shout out to Yakians out there in four quarters of the earth proclaiming Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rukal Kadash, Brakatham. And so, not long after my live stream that I was doing yesterday, sure enough, the presidential alert came on most people's phone. And of course, we brothers in the truth, man, we're sending this alarm out because this is a FEMA test. And yet we know that it's proven, though, that this eagle, which is only talking about one person, Esau, the so-called white man, is falling onto the ground, who has been cut down to the ground. Thus, the other nations now are taking proverbs against the Edomites. And so two bigger events also had taken place yesterday. For one, the UN had pretty much deemed that the sanctions against Iran were illegal. And then the United States, the whore, Babylon the Great, better known as the Eagle, had pulled out of another 1956 deal, pretty much, saying that, doing a lot of double talk, just like they've done whenever they've broken treaties before, because any treaty with this devil is a death sentence, pretty much, because that's what happened to our people. That's how our people were taken down. I do apologize for yesterday's stream. A lot of my words got muffled and ruffled up, but hopefully I've fixed that. But like I was saying yesterday, though, they have so many things that they're spraying in the air. And I had talked about these nanoparticles that they put in the air, which are RFID frequency types as well, and that they have RFID pills. This mark of the beast is upon us. And, well, Second Esdras, chapter 11, talks all about the eagle, which is the final kingdom, better known as America, because the bald eagle represents America, a.k.a. it's the national bird, and almost everything, even Harley Davidson flies the emblem of the eagle. So, and what are some of the biggest hit songs? Fly Like an Eagle, just everything worshiping the eagle, which is Esau, the so-called white man. So, I'm going to read out of Second Esdras, chapter 11. And, of course, like everything else, though, the elites are planning their next false flag. That's the main reason for the test of that FEMA. The next false flag, which may also be an announcement of war, because they're ready to go to war with Russia. They're even threatening to actually attack Russia, saying that Russia's using prohibited weapons, which all this is ludicrous. But, the eagle, Esau, is such a proud man that he would think to be so brave to actually think that he's going to conduct a military strike against Moscow, threatening them with a nuclear strike, if you will. So I'm going to read Second Esdras, chapter 11. On the second night I had a dream. I saw, rising from the sea, an eagle that had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. And thus, I believe the 3 heads are representative of France, England, and Spain. Those were the 3 kings that were subdued by this eagle. I saw it spread its wings over the whole earth, and all the winds of heaven blew upon it, and the clouds were gathered around it. Now, clouds is another metaphor for them chariots. So, I believe this is talking about that final hour. When Yahushai shall gather his elect, especially from Babylon the Great, but also when he destroys this place. I saw that out of its wings 3 grew opposite wings, but they became little, puny wings. But its head were at rest. The middle was larger than the other heads, but it too was at rest with them. Then I saw the eagle flew with its wings, and it reigned over the earth and over those who inhabit it. So pretty much, we can see that this eagle, America, has its bases all over the world. And I saw how all things under heaven were subjected to it. All these countries had to surrender to the American policies. And no one spoke against it. Yeah, because who is like unto the beast? Who can make war with them? That's talking about the UN, NATO, But now you got the eagle, the whore Babylon the Great, who thinks it's better than its own allies. Not a single creature that was on the earth. Then I saw the eagle rise upon its talons, and it uttered a cry to its wings, saying, "Do not all watch at the same time. Let each sleep in her own place and watch in its turn, but let the heads be reserved for the last." And we're in that last time now. I looked again and saw that the voice did not come from its heads, but from the middle of its body. I counted its rival wings, and there were 8 of them. As I watched, one wing on the right side rode up, and it rained all over the earth. And after a time, its reign came to an end, and it disappeared. And we're in that time now where, the eagle, Esau, the so-called white man, is near the end of his rulership. And so he has a desperate move now to put out FEMA, because that America is pretty much divided into 10 FEMA regions. I believe it's 10. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 10. I'm in FEMA Region 9, and, you'll look at a map and it'll show all 10 of the FEMA regions. But pretty much yesterday was a FEMA test, and it's a beta test, it's either going to say that, going to war, which I can see that happening, making the announcement that they're going into Syria or into Iran, or going to attack Russia, or going to officially announce World War III or martial law. I mean, there are so many factors, but we know that it's a beta test, and they're planning something big. As you know, the white helmets cannot even do this false flag because it's been exposed all over. So they're having a hard time doing that. So they have to find other just cause, and pretty much they're out of desperation, because now the Israeli state, Amalek, is saying that they're going to use their F-35 fighters to come after the S-300 systems. So they're looking for another way into Syria. All that's going on in the background. But, I believe that part of the distraction, of course, is what happened to Bill Cosby. And it's kind of funny because now they're, YouTubing a bunch of older videos where, you might have been checking out some Lynn. But the fact that most of these transgenders are testifying against Bill Cosby tells me that the whole thing is staged. Because, come on, like you would want to rape a fucking transvestite. I don't think so. Now, these are all false accusations, but Esau controls the narrative, controls the media. And they could take down whoever they wanted and make the example out of them. So they've been doing that with Bill Cosby earlier, throughout this time. But then earlier was Alex Jones, their paid opposition, their bot boy. And now, frozen his accounts, the pay fuck, as well as taking them off of the air completely. And so, how much more are they going to do to us? I've had my channels taken down many a times to where I couldn't do live streams, to where I had to create another channel, try to find more subscribers, start over from scratch, so many times, because I've exposed this devil, especially when you started getting into the bigger subjects, talking about Syria and the fact that America is ISIS, which is not a secret. It's not a conspiracy theory anymore. Everybody knows that America created these terrorists to go into Syria to overthrow the government. And everybody knows now about the school children that are being murdered in Yemen, just countless murder after murder. And just the fact, look at the Benghazi thing. Now, nothing ever happened. The trials and all that, what difference does it make? But who was on trial? It wasn't Barack Obama. It was Hillary Clinton. But yet these same terrorists that did Benghazi were sent into Syria. America was behind that. Yeah, it was all over Fox News about the Benghazi scandal, but Barack Obama still got reelected, which just shows you that they control the opposition to make you think that you actually had a vote. Yeah, more people turned out to vote for Mitt Romney against Barack Obama, but Barack Obama still got elected. And then, to make everybody think that they had a vote, Donald Trump became president when it was looking like Hillary Clinton was going to be the president. See, they do all that to zombify, make people think that they actually had a choice. But we, the elect, know not to get into that system. We have totally gotten out of the matrix. We've unplugged from the matrix. We've unplugged from Esau. And, people more and more seeing us on the streets. They're seeing camps show up. I became a camp last year, taking what I knew and going out there and teaching what I knew and just getting stronger and stronger. And others are doing this. Now it's known that we're in Afghanistan as well. We have a camp in Afghanistan now. We're starting to show up in the Middle East because, of course, we've been scattered among the four quarters of the earth. And we're now going out and proclaiming that we're Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel. And these Amalekites, these so-called Ashkenazi Jews, can't prove which tribes they come from because there's no such thing as an Ashkenazi Jew. It doesn't exist because Ashkenaz is a son of Japheth. And not to mention they don't fit the color description. Yes, many of we Jakes don't look like we're Jakes anymore because we mingled with the other nations and we've come out of that, but we're still going to look like the other nations. And so what they do is, you got a lot of these black-only Israelite groups that like to push the narrative, so that way they can use that black extremist, that we're black extremists. But, when we came up against No Class Malone and said, well, do I look like a black Hebrew Israelite? We all did that, especially we confusing their faces. But we come to find out that Vocab Malone is, in fact, one of those Ashkenazi Jews, but he doesn't proclaim to be an Ashkenazi Jew. He claims to be a Christian. But yet you research his name, you find out, yep, sure enough, he's an Amalekite. He goes back to the tribe of Amalek, so it's like no wonder why he doesn't know Bible prophecy. No wonder why he basically doesn't know shit. Because the head tribe of the Edomites is very weak against the head tribe of the Israelites, which is Judah. No comparison. Like I said, that's why they hide behind their suits and their money. But their money can't buy their way out, so they're just going to continue this war. And pretty much all the nations now are taking a proverb against us. When the UN makes a decision like that, that means that they're against these two, Babylon the Great and Amalek. And it's concerning Iran. The rest of the world wants to deal with Iran, wants to deal with Persia. And, well, we could also tell that by the time they go into Syria that they're going to be chased off. Look at what just happened with the aircraft carrier. It got chased off by Persia. And then, of course, Persia's shown that it's very quite capable of firing at the terrorists as well. No, Persia's there to stay. The Persian Gulf is here to stay. And the United States, Babylon the Great, is being chased off. So they're not going to just give up easily. No. That's why you're seeing more events in Saudi Arabia, because that's where the military is. It's in Saudi Arabia. Part of it's in Iraq. And the other part of it is in the eastern side of Syria. Over there, what they call the Syrian Democratic Forces, which is really Kurdish YPG, which has always been their second plan. That's how they divided Iraq, into those sects, and they were trying to do the same with that. And so Syrian Democratic Forces are really nothing more than the United States working with the Kurds, because they're getting armaments from the United States and the terrorists, Saudi Arabia, and all the terrorist groups, which we all know that America is the terrorist. That if it wasn't for America, pretty much the Syria would already been liberated from the terrorist groups. And, that's not a secret anymore. So, they're testing the system. And that's why the presidential alerts came out there. This eagle has been cut down to the ground. Pretty much, it's no longer able to soar over the nations. The nations are taking a proverb and saying, no, we want to deal with Russia. We want to deal with Iran. Fuck America. So the weak are now saying that they're strong. And so this being the year of prophecy, we've been prophesying that this would happen for a long time. And so like everything else, we're going to keep on proclaiming this word until the end. For that, I want to say, Baruch Atah Yahweh, Baruch Atah Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadosh, Baruch Atah.